been a long, tough year, everybody. But guess what? We're back drinking beer on TV.
A socially distanced toast with one of the beers we'll be featuring on this year's What's Brewing beer bracket.
He's Joe Sixpack. I'm Glen Macnow. We're at Tasker's Beer Barn in Exeter Township, Berks County. Welcome to a new season of What's Brewing.
Brewing is brought to you in part by Monco Makers, powered by the Valley Forge Tourism and Convention Board. Download the app. By Visit Bucks County. We are open. Travel responsibly. Follow the Bucks County Ale Trail. Go to visitbuckscounty.com/ale trail to get your passport. By the Craft Beer Trail of Greater Philadelphia. 5 counties, 90-plus breweries, and 1,000-plus craft beers. And by Conshohocken Brewing Company, now shipping beer to all of Pennsylvania at conchiexpress.com.
It's a place that inspires the dreamers, the overachievers, a place for those who follow the path, as well as the ones who blaze them. So whether you want to go with the flow or rise above it all, visit Bucks County and be inspired.
Welcome everybody to a brand new season of What's Brewing along with my pal Joe Sixpack. I'm Glen Macnow. We're at a great place, Tasker's Beer Barn in Exeter Township, Berks County. Worth the drive out here from Metro Philly because what you saw, their craft beer section is tremendous.
It's amazing. They built this great beer pyramid behind us with an amazing selection of beers. We're going to do a little shopping after the show.
Yes, we will. And listen, we're delighted to be back. It might be a little noisy, but in case anybody doesn't know, there's a pandemic going on, so we're shooting the show outside. Everybody adjusts this year. Everybody's getting by. They're doing well here at Tasker's. And again, we're happy to be here and appreciate our fans and hope you look forward to a new fun season of our show. We always start with our beer exchange, and we got a style this year that we've never discussed before.
That's right. Mexican lagers. They took off a little bit again this summer, and it's an unusual style of beer. It's actually not even really an official style of beer. Nobody really talks about it. Let's try yours first, Glenn.
All right.
Here's
what I got for you from Levante Brewing. This is their Escalante Mexican style lager. Well, there you go. I'm going to read from their copy points. Inspired to brew a clear, classic beer style as light and refreshing as it is smooth and complex. Sorry, it's not the greatest pour ever. Our brewers delivered a full-flavored Mexican-style lager, filtered yet rich with malt and flake maize, which we'll discuss in a moment. May we suggest a lime? Sure, we come prepared. 5.2%. All right, so what is this?
All right, so Mexican lager, you think of Corona, Tecate.
Yeah.
Those are basic mainstream beers. They're somewhat tasteless in my opinion, but they're good beers for refreshment. Craft brewers.
They're tailgate beers.
Exactly. Craft brewers have taken that style, amped it up a little bit with the flavor, so you're going to get more of that kind of corn flavor. Mm-hmm. Often, as in the case of the next beer we're going to be tasting, the lime that you just added is already in the beer, but essentially it's sort of a made-up style. I think it's mainly out there to appeal to people who are already drinking cheap Mexican beer. Step it up a little bit with something.
And want to think they're drinking a craft beer? Is that what you're telling me?
Yes.
All right. Well, it's the maize. Let's pour the other one that you brought, but it's the maize. It's the corn rolled through hot rollers, removes the germ oil and protein. You understand that better than I do, but it gives it a bit of a crispness, which I guess is the attraction for this.
Right, and what's funny is that this particular one from Stone, which is their Buena Vista Salt and Lime Lager, they put the label on upside down. They have some bizarre reason. I'm not sure what that is.
Yeah, the teeth are coming out of the bottom of the skull,
Exactly.
the top of the skull.
So it's theirs is this is from California, and that's where we see a lot of these. The southwestern part of the country is where a lot of these Mexican lagers are coming from.
Yeah, I saw that. California, Colorado, New Mexico, it's a Western style thing. Is it simply a warm weather thing, or are people going to want to drink this through for the rest of football season?
Well, I think in the Southwest, warm weather lasts all year.
Yeah.
So here in the Philly region, these things are disappearing from the shelves. So I think it is mostly a summertime beer. I actually like this one from Stone. The lime is really nice and low key.
Kind of a winner, I agree with you. Okay, so another thing, and you're going to see the picture up here. A Texas brewery decided, hey, wings and beer go together. We did a whole show on that one time. There is no better pairing than wings and beer. They decided we're going to put it all into the can, and they took some Frank's Red Hot sauce, which I've had many times, and they put it into the beer that they call Buffalo Wangs. Debuted in September. You can't buy it here. It's a Texas beer, but it sold very well. In or out on that idea?
I think it's nuts, but I know that you believe everything you read on the internet and therefore insisted on us trying our own version of this stuff.
Right. So here's the thing. We did a show last year on stuff that people put in beer. We put pickle juice in beer, pickle in beer, and it wasn't bad. Actually, it helped cheap beer make cheap beer better. I wouldn't do it with a good beer, but cheap beer. Worcestershire sauce.
We've done Worcestershire sauce, salt,
lime, oranges. Okay. So I found a story on how people everywhere are squirting hot sauce into their beer. This Ham's beer drenched in hot sauce is more than I can take, but we got a cheap Mexican beer apiece.
Pacifico.
Open that up. There's your lime. There's my lime. Get the lime in there.
Oh, you put the lime in first?
Well, I don't know. First,
you
second.
You go with first. I'm
actually
second.
Putting the lime right in there.
Oh, all right.
And now I got some Melinda hot. This is actually Mexican hot sauce that I got. Okay, I'm gonna put it on. I'm telling you, I'm gonna regret this so much. I know I am. Okay, as you can see, not going light, right? But hey,
I'm making more room for the hot sauce.
Okay. You really gotta do it. Okay. You tell me 3, 2, 1, and we'll go.
Oh geez. That was.
There you go. That's good. Hey.
All right.
Don't say we don't work hard for this show. 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah. You know what? That's a kick. You know it's kind of a clams on the half shell kind of thing with the hot sauce, and then the beer burns down in you with the lime. You know what? I've had worse.
I'm afraid this is going to come back to haunt me later.
Yeah, this could make the drive home really tough, but there you go. Anyway, we try anything for the show, and not as bad as I thought. Coming up, we're going to talk about how things have been since March, when the world shut down, and what that's meant for the beer industry. From Tasker's Beer Barn in Exeter Township, Joe Sixpack, Glen Macnow, this is What's Brewing. Hey everybody, it's cold outside, and that means it's the winter beer season. Head to any Conshohocken Brewing Company location or local beer retailer for Conshohocken Brewing's seasonal lineup. We've got 2-hour delay hazy winter IPA, Mr. Robusto, a robust porter, and 2-time World Beer Cup Award winner Puddler's Row ESB. Those and our others are sure to ring the bell this winter season. That's Conshohocken Brewing Company. Cheers. Hey, welcome back to What's Brewing, brand new season. Happy to be back with you. Happy to be back at Tasker's Beer Barn, Exeter Township, PA up in Berks County. We love the people here, Tom and Lisa Tasker. And also want to thank a new sponsor, visitphilly.com.
Oh, great.
Yeah, and you go to their website, you see all the terrific places to go and drink and eat and enjoy in Philadelphia. Joe Sixpack, happy to see you.
We should get some sponsorship from an antacid company after
Oh
that.
man, still feeling that one, are you? Yeah, that was a trip. All right, we got to talk about what's happened during the pandemic. You and I got together, did a couple of Facebook Live shows, but we really haven't had a chance to talk about the news. Some good, some bad. I guess we ought to start with the closings because it was economic distress.
It has been, and we've seen bars close or get ready to close, unfortunately. But I took a look around, and so far there have been no really big breweries closed. One of the more significant ones was the McKellar Brew Pub up at Citi Field where the Mets play in New York, which is a shame. It's a nice spot. Locally,
hey, no live fans for baseball.
Exactly.
That kills you.
Exactly. Locally, mostly what we've been seeing is the breweries close up their tap rooms. Cave Brewing up near Allentown, they closed their mall tap room, and Proper Little Pub also closed up in Allentown. But those were just extensions. Bad to see them close, but for the most part, though, we haven't seen a lot of breweries go under.
So let me ask you this, because reports I've seen suggest that 25–30% of restaurants have shut during the pandemic and may never reopen again. Seems a little rosier with breweries.
I guess it is. I've talked to a couple breweries about this, and one of the things that's going on is that they've done a really good job pivoting away from having to have to sell beer to customers coming in for dinner and so on, and just selling beer to go, either from curbside service or what have you. But there's no doubt it's been a huge blow. They're not putting beer in kegs for sale at bars, which is the majority of most of their businesses.
Yeah.
So it's been tough for them. I think also the fact that they're small. They've tended to sort of, maybe they've laid off some people, but the guy that owns the brewery is now making the beer as well. So
yeah. Trying to get as lean and mean as they can. By the way, still feeling this hot sauce myself. How about you? Going to feel this for the rest of the day.
Really.
Okay, amazingly, you say there have been some openings.
Yes, there have been, and I'm astonished at it. But some of these places that I'm going to mention were places that were going to open in 2020, and they just plowed ahead and said, "The hell with it, we're going to open regardless of it." And a couple notable ones are the New Ridge Brewery in my neck of the woods in Roxborough opened up in the middle of this.
Gee whiz, a new brewery in Roxborough. They can stay in business just by you and Mrs. Sixpack spending afternoons there.
True that. And then over in Jersey, there's been a couple. Dr. Brew Littles. I've not been there yet. Pretty
Good
funny
name.
Yeah.
I like the name.
That's in Maple Shade, and in Cherry Hill, Mechanical Brewing. They plan to open up at the end of this month in November.
All right, good for them.
So, and a number have expanded too. I was at a brewery the other day at Stolen Sun in Exton, right on Route 100. They're doubling in size in the middle of this whole thing. So
again, you kind of alluded to it earlier, but I have to think one of the things that has really hurt them is there's no live events. I know the Eagles are now getting 5,500 fans at the games, as are some other teams, but really, you lose 2.5 million people going to Phillies games over the course of a year. All of the breweries that were there are really hit.
I know, you don't think about that often, but these guys depend on moving those kegs there. Not only are they selling a lot of beer, but it's a great marketing opportunity for them, and they've lost that now. So I think it's remarkable that they have, as I said, I know everybody's using that word pivot, but they have done that successfully for the most part.
And the pivot is can sales.
Can sales, delivery. We used on our Facebook Live show, we had video of Attic Brewing delivering beer to my house, but with a drag queen.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
So the whole idea of just coming up with new, interesting ideas to interact with customers who can no longer come into your brew pub.
People know I'm involved with Conshohocken Brewing, and we began a delivery service. It did I think better than we expected it to do. And you mentioned cans. There was a can shortage.
Yes.
Aluminum shortage.
Well, it's not the aluminum shortage apparently. It's actually the cans themselves. They're not producing enough of these quickly enough for people, and we're starting to see some shortage. So yeah, I've heard that it's not the aluminum, it's the actual cans. I know of at least 2 or 3 breweries that had issues with the crowlers, those 32-ounce cans, because those are really made in limited supply, and all of a sudden they needed it because they had all this keg beer they had to get moving out the door. So.
Sure. Okay, and obviously the weather's been good. It's a beautiful day as we sit here. it may not be that way forever, right? Because most places are doing okay. Come join us at our beer garden,
Right.
at our porch, at our patio.
Exactly. That's where they've survived so far during the summer, is because they were able to open outdoors with socially distanced tables and so on. But I don't know how well that's going to last. I mean, you can get heaters.
Oh, we invested big in heaters.
Yeah.
I want to be the guy who owns the heater franchise. Those people are doing okay.
I actually got one from my backyard.
Did you really?
Yes, I did.
Wow.
So, I wanted to have a way to sit out by my fire in the winter.
Man.
So.
Listen, we admire and applaud everybody in the industry for really working hard to get by, for being creative, and we certainly thank the customers, the people who buy the beer, and for hanging in. And part of that for us is being able to be back on the air. And to celebrate Joe Sixpack, I think we should go, no. Come on, one more.
All right.
All right. From the Devil's Cup, we're going one more time. I think I may end up liking this.
Oh, boy.
Oh, ho, ho. We'll be back. I'm going to talk to one of these nice people from Tasker's Beer Barn next. Thank you. On What's Brewing.
It's a place that inspires the dreamers, the overachievers. A place for those who follow the path, as well as the ones who blaze them. So whether you want to go with the flow or rise above it all, visit Bucks County and be inspired.
Welcome back to What's Brewing. We are at Tasker's Beer Barn in Birdsboro. Delighted to be joined by Tom Tasker, who owns this here joint, and Mitch Bailey, who is their craft beer buyer. Tom, I got to tell you, I am thrilled and fascinated by your whole craft beer section here. It's like going through a library. I can just browse and find stuff. And I mean, how big is this? How many beers you got over here?
Right now, we have over 530 craft beers, but it's rotating constantly. We're constantly getting new stuff in, and it's just a little overwhelming sometimes about how much product is available.
I'm telling you, just give me a like a little shopping cart and a couple of things to put together, cases, and I will go to town. Mitch is going to tell us 5 beers that we ought to try this season. Mitch, go with number 1.
All right, so I'll start off with the Concha. I know how much you like
Ah,
that.
there you go.
So this one's a really unique beer. What I really like about it is it's an IPA, which everybody likes, but it's actually got a different spin to it because it has a lot of wheat in it, which gives it kind of a softer mouthfeel, and it makes it pretty drinkable, but also it still has the hop bitterness and the hop flavor that everybody's looking
Mitch,
for.
you being new at this, didn't say the name. It is the Concha Brewing
Oh,
Company.
yes.
2-hour delay. There you go.
Concha
Winter
Brewing
Hazy.
Company, 2-hour delay, yes.
All right, well, here's 2. I'm going to give it a try. I love those hazies, man. I
Yeah.
really do. This is my jam. All
Yeah.
right, I'm looking at this one. It's got a waffle on it and maple syrup. What is this?
Right, so we don't just cater to the IPA drinkers. That's what we typically like. So Rusty Rail, they're from Mifflinburg, I believe.
Yeah.
And this is a brown ale, and it's maple pecan. So definitely interesting flavors that you got in there. And it's for your darker beer drinker.
I got to tell you, it looks really interesting. I'm interested in trying it. Tom, of the people who come in, every 100 people who come in, how many are going for something like, anything like this, and how many are saying like, hey, where's my Miller Lite, buddy?
I'd say it's becoming 50-50 sometimes. Some weeks we sell just as much craft beer as we do domestic beer. It's definitely growing. The 3 years that we've been open, they're multiplying pretty much monthly.
All right, let's find another new interesting beer for the season. What do we got?
So this one right here, this is a hazy IPA, but it's a milkshake IPA. They add lactose to it. It's from Barrier. It's called Kickin' Knowledge. It's a series, and this is their pumpkin version of the series.
Okay,
And
now when you say it's a milkshake, what does that mean?
so it means they add milk sugar to it, which gives it a kind of a sweeter sometimes and creamier texture, but it also complements the haziness and the bitterness of the IPA.
I like it. Tom Tasker, when you're have like a night you want to try a beer or two, what do you like to try?
Right now, Double Nickel Weekend Warrior, citrusy. It's a double dry hopped beer. Is easy drinking, about 5% ABV, and it's just a nice one for me to just sit back and relax.
All right, let's sneak in one more here. What is this last one?
Yeah, it is one more, but it's also kind of a 4-for-1 deal. So this is a variety pack, and now this is for your sour customer. This is Artisanal Brew Works, and they did a collaboration with Warheads Candy. They actually brewed it with real warheads in here, and you have, you know, take your pick. You have black cherry, blue raspberry, green apple, and watermelon. And it's definitely very sour.
Yeah, well, Mitch, let me tell you something. I will stick to this myself and let the children, when I say children, excuse me, people in their 20s drink that. That is not for me, Tom. I'm guessing not your style of choice.
No, not normally.
All right, these are amazing beers, and they have a tremendous selection here at Tasker's in Exeter Township. Tom, what are the hours? How do people find you?
We're located right here in 422 in Exeter Township. Monday through Saturday, we're open from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Sundays, we're open from 11 to 6.
And let me tell you something. When you come, bring the extra large shopping cart. You might want to bring a credit card with a lot on it because there's a lot to buy here. Good stuff. Pleasure to be with you guys again this year.
Thanks for coming back.
Absolutely. Coming up, Joe Sixpack and I discuss the return of an iconic Christmas beer next on What's Brewing.
They're not just familiar faces. They're your friends and neighbors. It's their small businesses, a beating heart that makes a neighborhood a home. The places with a pick-me-up or a story that inspires, where you can share a taste of comfort with the personal touch that makes our world shine a little brighter. Support small and make a big difference. Make it local. Make it Main Street. Make it Montco.
Welcome back to our first episode of a new season of a socially distanced What's Brewing. Joe Sixpack, Glen Macnow. We're here at Tasker's Beer Barn in Exeter Township. Just a great place we've certainly enjoyed. We're going to be back next week. We enjoyed it so much. We are filming this, to be honest, before the election. We have no idea how it turned out. We hope your candidate won. Maybe, that could be a lie anyway, but you have these great cans which are coming out they're out as you're watching the show. These are out. Tell me about
Right,
this.
Stolen Sun figured that out. That
Yeah.
you know, some people are going to be happy, some people will not be happy. But beer brings us all together, hopefully. And so they brewed Peace Offering.
Oh, that's great.
And they did it with two different labels that you can pick up. This is Peace Offering. If you weren't particularly happy with the outcome, this is the We're Screwed version of it.
Man, the earth is burning down in this thing.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, clearly your side did not win with this beer. Okay.
And this is the We're Saved version. So sunshine and happy faces and all that. It's the same beer. It's a double dry hopped election IPA.
Yeah.
I haven't tasted. Yeah, it's poor because we don't know what's going
They're
on.
really
here.
smart because they didn't tie themselves to one candidate or the other. They just tied themselves to we won, we lost.
Yeah.
So you
Oh
can go
wow!
either
Beautiful
way.
hops.
Nice.
Smells like electoral victory to me.
There you go. Okay. Every year, Joe Sixpack ideates a great brew down, Field of 32. We look for a new theme every year. This year, we want to make it easy for you. So the theme was kind of the top selling national craft beers that you can find, right?
Pretty much anywhere. Yes,
okay,
exactly.
so take it from there.
So it was your idea, Glenn. I thought it was a great idea because so many of the beers that we've done on the beer bracket are ones that they're very esoteric. You can only find
We've done some that when we did it, they stopped selling the beer.
Yeah, exactly. So these are beers that you can get anywhere, and I divided it up into 4 brackets.
Yes, I love this part.
So we had a global division because the biggest so-called craft beers are ones that are actually owned by the big breweries like Anheuser-Busch,
Yes.
San Miguel,
like
Miller,
this.
and so on.
Yes.
But we had to give them credit because a lot of people drink those beers.
I know, it's fine.
Then we had the old school beers, which were a lot of the older breweries, they figured out that they are making actual craft beer, so that's promoted as craft beer. So something like Yingling, not everybody thinks of it as craft beer, but they've promoted it like that.
Technically a craft beer, one of the largest in the country. We're fans.
Exactly. And then there's the independent breweries, people like Stone and Harpoon, Sierra Nevada.
Bell's in that one?
What's that? Bell's is in
Big
there.
Big fan of Bell's.
And then there's the fourth division is the not so independent, which includes the likes of, say, Dogfish Head, which actually merged with Sam Adams, or Victory out in Downingtown. They merged with a private equity deal with Southern
You put a lot
Tier.
of thought into this.
Yeah,
man.
exactly.
I got to tell you, you really spent a lot of time devising the brackets, doing the ratings. We put the polls on Twitter, and we did the first couple, and I see we've got them here. So there you go. By the way, if I'm correct, the first two elections were runaways.
They were.
Very one-sided.
Exactly. So we did Stone IPA from California, an independent
I'm
brewery.
a big fan.
Up against Harpoon IPA.
I like that, way up New England.
Exactly.
Yep.
And actually, not surprisingly, I think Stone actually swamped Harpoon 72% to 28%. I think it's because Stone is so big. That was, I think, one of the reasons.
I like them both, okay.
I love them both, too. And then for the other one, we went with the not-so-independent breweries, and that was Sam Adams, which merged...
One of the first craft beers,
with, exactly, the Boston Lager, which they merged with 60-minute IPA.
Oh, clever
from
Joe
Head.
Sixpack. You put the two against each other, which have the common owner.
And not only that, but one of the great rivalries in sports, Philly area
Philly, Boston.
versus
Well,
Boston.
I can imagine. I've seen the results, but let's be honest. The local's going to win this thing, right?
True that. Almost 3-1. Dogfish Head 60-minute IPA moves into the next bracket or next level, beating Sam Adams Boston Lager.
Well, there you go. And it's going to be fun all year. So you should follow him on Twitter at beer_radar. You follow me on Twitter at Real Glen Macnow. Follow the show at What's Brewing PA.
And on our Facebook page, we will be doing the actual bracket there, so you can look at it there.
You can see the whole thing. You can plan ahead, and we should make a pool, like a whole NCAA pool. But we invite you to vote. We invite your feedback, and we really love that people follow us, get in touch with us, and are part of this show. Let me tell you, we're so happy to be back. We really want to thank the great people here at Tasker's Beer Barn. We enjoy our day here. Recommend you get out here. They have a terrific selection. Joe Sixpack, it's been good.
It has been a great first show. Happy that we could do it and continue doing it all season.
We look forward to seeing you next week right here on What's Brewing.
What's Brewing is brought to you in part by Monco Makers, powered by the Valley Forge Tourism and Convention Board. Download the app. By Visit Bucks County. We are open. Travel responsibly. Follow the Bucks County Ale Trail. Go to visitbuckscounty.com/ale trail to get your passport. By the Craft Beer Trail of Greater Philadelphia. 5 counties, 90+ breweries, and 1,000+ craft beers. And by Conshohocken Brewing Company, now shipping beer to all of Pennsylvania at ConchiExpress.com.